Guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be doing a review on Space Force. I've finally gotten around to doing a Space Force review. This show stars the wonderful Steve Carell, who is basically responsible for putting boots on the moon in 2024. I must say that as much as a lot of people didn't like this show, I loved it. I love that type of comedy. This show presented a lot of, I like to call it dumb comedy, and sarcastic. It had a sarcastic tone to it and a lot of dramatic elements as well. I thought it was incredible. 100% love the relationship between Steve Carell and Kik. In the beginning, you're introduced to Steve Carell and sort of his position of being a 4-star general, and he's walking in the hallway and he runs into Kik. Like, I'm sorry, what is Kik doing here? You won't know until you watch the show. With this new branch called Space Force that is introduced into the military from POTUS, by POTUS, there are a lot of challenges that Mark Naird has to face, and one of those challenges is finding out a civil way to work with Dr. Adrian Mallory. That's what you need in order to create a comedy. If you want to create a comedy, put Steve Carell and John Malkovich together. And there you go. Complete opposites, but they all have one goal, which is getting boots on the moon in 2024. No pressure, right? Yes, there is a lot of pressure, and you see that pressure getting to Mark Naird as he's working with a lot of incompetent people. Maybe that was a little mean. Or so he thinks they're incompetent, but he's really just impatient. Another great addition to the show would have to be Erin, played by Diana Silvers, who at first I didn't necessarily like her character when she was introduced early on in the season. But I actually started I had to get used to her. You know, when you meet people and at first you're like, I'm not sure if I like them or not. And then when you start getting to know them more, you like them. That's pretty much the relationship. That's relationship as if I know the chick, right? But that's pretty much how I felt about Diana Silver's character. I just had to get to know her first, and she definitely adds on that layer of that bland sort of teenager trying to find herself. Surprisingly, because her relationship with her dad isn't the greatest, but there still is a relationship there. It just needs to be worked on. Surprisingly, she didn't really hold him back from his mission of what he needed to accomplish at his job. I mean, he's a father, but he's also this 4-star general who has a mission. And yeah, they would go through their issues whenever he would come home, but I'm surprised it didn't really carry over into his job. Mark Naird's wife, played by Lisa Kudrow, not necessarily sure what her character means to the show. There's a lot going on with her character, but then again, there's also so little. I want to get to know her more. She introduces the fact that she wants an open marriage. Surprise. And I just wonder how that's going to work out in the next season. I would like for her to get more screen time and for them to explore how that's going to affect their relationship, which it is affecting it now, but Mark Naird is taking a liking to someone else at his job, and they're actually dating, and he's just openly honest with the fact that he has a wife at home. So Benjamin Schwartz as the head of PR, hilarious. He's very good at being annoying, digging into people's business. I feel like his character is very necessary. He adds on that extra layer of funny, and they really stick the landing with the jokes in this show. I think everyone has good lines, but I will say a breakout performance for me, a standout performance for me, Tawny Newsome, who played Angela Ali. She ended up having a bigger role than I thought she would have further into the season, and I'm proud of her. I'm glad for that. And rest in peace to Fred Willard, who was also on the show. He had a couple of scenes. He played Mark Naird's father, who would always call him during the most horrible times, because he basically played that stereotypical old parent. I really enjoyed the plot for the show, and I'm looking forward to the next season. One of the challenges of the show, I will say, is not really knowing where it was going to go from there. I mean, the way that the episodes ended didn't necessarily end on cliffhangers that made you want to necessarily continue watching. For those of you who have seen the show, what do you think? If you haven't seen the show, you should definitely see the show. I think I would definitely recommend watching this show. It's hilarious, and it came at a wonderful time during this pandemic when we all needed a good laugh, and it definitely did that for me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next review.